The laws of rituals and uncleanliness. The ceremonial laws are called hukim or chukah in Hebrew, which literally means custom of the nation. The words are often translated as statutes. These laws seem to focus the adherents' attention on God. They include instructions on regaining right standing with God. For example, sacrifices and other ceremonies regarding uncleanness, remembrances of God's work in Israel, specific regulations meant to distinguish Israelites from their pagan neighbors, Gmail, and signs that point to the coming Messiah. Pentateuchal books before and after Leviticus also contribute to our knowledge of sacrifices. The narratives of Genesis and Exodus recount occasions of sacrificial worship by patriarchs from early times and continuing into the worship culture of the Israelite nation, to which additional sacrificial procedures were added. This can be referred in Exodus chapter 12 and Leviticus chapters 4 to 9 and 16. This type of law related to Israel's worship and the things they needed to do to the God-chosen people, which can be referred in Leviticus chapter 1 verses 1 to 13. The laws pointed forward to Yeshua the Messiah and were no longer necessary after Yeshua's death and resurrection. Though we are no longer bound to them, the principles behind the ceremonial laws, to worship and love God, still apply. Leviticus chapters 11 to 15 give instructions regarding physical ritual impurities. This section logically precedes Leviticus chapter 16 regarding the Day of Atonement, when physical impurities are purged from the sanctuary along with moral faults. This can be referred in Leviticus chapters 16 and 19. Following Leviticus chapter 1 to 16, which lay out the core of the sacrificial system, Leviticus chapter 17 to 26 provide what is commonly known as the Holiness Code, with Leviticus chapter 27 often viewed as an appendix. Some of these chapters supply reminders and additional information regarding sacrifice. For example, Leviticus 17 reinforces the requirement to sacrifice only at the sanctuary during Israel's wilderness wanderings and the prohibition of eating meat with its blood. This can be referred in Leviticus chapter 3 verse 17, chapter 7 verse 26. Additionally, sacrificable species of animals may be slaughtered for food only as well-being offerings. Leviticus chapter 23 gives directions for the observance of festivals, and Leviticus chapter 24 verses 5 to 9 provides instructions for making the bread of the presence and placing it on the table in the sanctuary. Several passages in the book of Numbers provide instructions regarding sacrifices. These include, for example, supplementary information concerning restitution, preceding reparation offerings, which can be referred in Number chapter 5, verses 6 to 8, directions for sacrifices by Nazirites that can be referred in Number chapter 6, verses 10 to 12, and 14 to 21, specification of grain and drink offerings to accompany some kinds of sacrifices, which can be referred in Number chapter 15, verses 3 to 16, reiteration of the provision for purification offerings in cases of inadvertent sin, with revision of the sacrifice for the community. This can be referred in Number chapter 15, verses 22 to 29, the prescription for the red cow ritual to provide ashes for purification from corpse impurity, which can be referred in Number chapter 19, and a liturgical calendar outlining corporate sacrifices. This can be referred in Number chapters 28 to 29. In Deuteronomy, when the Israelites are safely settled in the land of Canaan, they must offer sacrifices and celebrate their festivals only at the central place of worship that God will choose. It can be referred in Deuteronomy chapters 12 and 16. However, if they live too far from there, unlike in Leviticus chapter 17, they will be allowed to slaughter their sacrificable domestic animals for meat where they dwell, provided that they drain out the blood, which can be referred in Deuteronomy chapter 12, verses 15 to 16 and 20 to 25. In Deuteronomy chapter 21, an elimination ritual to free the community from responsibility for an unsolved murder involves breaking the neck of a heifer, which can be referred in Deuteronomy chapter 21, verses 1 to 9. But this is not a sacrifice because nothing is offered to the deity and the mode of slaughter is non-sacrificial. Some Jews believe that the ceremonial law is not fixed. They hold that, as societies evolve, so do God's expectations of how his followers should relate to him. This view is not indicated in the Bible. The believers out of the nation Israel are not bound by ceremonial law. Galatians chapter 3 verses 23 to 25 explains that since Yeshua the Messiah has come, believers are not required to sacrifice or circumcise. The ceremonial law helped the Israelites was introduced to be more disciplined than the surrounding nations.